Let's talk about some basic formatting in Google Sheets. I've got some data here, which is some examples of some LinkedIn posts that we want to do. We've copied these over from LinkedIn. Some of the text is really long, it's kind of hard to read. It's going into other columns. I can't really see what's going on and I can't read everything. So how do I best format this in a table so that it's easier for other people to read? The first thing I like to do is have a header row. So I will click on this one here, which highlights the entire row. And what I like to do for that is click on bold, or you can use Command or Control and B to make it bold. I also like to center the headings. And there is this option here called wrap text wrapping. And that just works out kind of like overflow, what to do when the text is too big for the column. So I usually click on it and I will make sure the text wraps. And that means if there was like two words, they might go on another line. And because our headings are quite short, that's fine. You can also, if you want to, color in the heading row. So sometimes just putting a bit of color there so we can see exactly what's going on. I also usually freeze the heading row. So I go view, freeze, one row. And that means when I scroll, the heading stays there. Now, looking at all this other text, there is a lot going on. One of the best things we can do is actually text wrap. So this column looks too big to me. So to resize the columns, we can hover over the lines in between them and do this to drag it backwards and forwards. If you want to auto size it, so an auto size means that it stretches to the whole, the maximum length of one of them. So let's take type, for example. If I double click, so move over until this double arrow kind of comes up and then double click, it then automatically moves it to the size that it needs to be. That can be kind of helpful. But let's take a look. So what I want to do, I'm just going to do, so something I'm going to do is click on row 2 and then I'm going to press the shift button. And if you're on Windows, press Control, and if you're on Mac, press Command and then down. And then I'm going to do it one more time. So keep holding Shift and Command or Control and press down again. And this just means I've highlighted every row that might possibly be added to this data set. I'm going to wrap text. I'm going to center. And I'm also going to click on this one, which is vertical align. So I'm going to vertically align center. So that's like aligning in the row rather than the column. So now let's scroll back up. If you don't want to scroll, you can hit Command or Control and up, and then we're where we want to be. Okay, so we can see that that's a bit tidier now. This text is no longer running the whole way across the end, just to show you what's changed there. So it was the text wrap. So if I click on this and say File, Clear, Format, Clear Formatting, this is what it looked like before. So if I then click on this cell and click on this little paint ruler, it's a copy the format basically. So if I click copy format and then I click on this cell, that'll add the same formatting. So that's horizontal align, vertical align, and text wrapping. I think this looks a bit better now. We can then work out what size we want this. So maybe we want this size, so that other things can fit in. No, that doesn't look better, so I'm going to make it smaller again. Yes, and that is how I would start to format some tables so they're actually readable by other people.